This guest you've seen many times here on Good Day PA. Danny Kissel is known in the Mid-State as a master pumpkin carver, and now he's known, well, anywhere. Here's Danny Kissel on the Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins.
I use one of my smaller clay tools to be able to pull her wisps of hair, but I leave the hair attached so that it'll blow in the wind. Her hair is almost as cool as mine. Almost. If you're gonna be a professional pumpkin carver, man, you gotta go all out. You gotta have that total package look.
Well, he had it, all right. Danny took home the title of Outrageous Pumpkin Champion with a really nice prize that came along with it. Danny, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's fun to say we knew you. When, you know? Okay, first tell folks what Outrageous Pumpkins was. It was an intense competition.
Yes, it was. Outrageous Pumpkins was filmed originally maybe 10 years ago. It was on television.
Oh, okay.
And Ray Villafane, one of the judges, was one of the competitors on it. And years later, they did a reboot, and that's what we're in now. So it was a 4-part series. The first part focused on jack-o'-lanterns. Second part focused a little bit more on sculpture. The third was more sculpture, more innovative lighting, and the last one was an all-out battle of everything that we've learned up to that point.
What sort of challenges were happening? What sort of creations did you come up with?
I had a blast on everything. I love carving pumpkins. The very first episode we did jack-o'-lanterns, and it was a jack-o'-lantern style theme. So we tend to, stretch what a jack-o'-lantern is. So I made a witch about 3.5, 4 feet tall. She was standing over a cauldron, had smoke coming out of it, lighting, all that kind of good stuff. The second episode, we focused more on sculpture, and it was trick-or-treating pumpkins. So I had 2 pumpkins that were painted and airbrushed like the guy down here on the end, and they were tripping each other into a meat grinder to turn each other into a pumpkin pie. We had fire on the set for that. So I had them actually going through an oven. The third round was undead animals. So we had animals back from the dead, and I did a big woolly mammoth for that.
A woolly mammoth?
He became a meat eater. When we did that, the final episode was actually kind of taking a modern twist on an old school, monster. So I did Frankenstein doing the floss.
That's crazy. We're looking at some behind the scenes photos here. I want to know, when did you actually record this show?
We actually filmed this in November of last year.
Wow, so you've been holding a secret for quite a long time.
Yes, it's a very long time to hold a secret.
Yes, yes. Well, tell me about the experience. Was it really fun? Was it really stressful? Was it all of that?
It was great. I love doing television. I like doing competitions. I'm used to being outside. We dealt with one day, it was, I think, 15 degrees, 10 degrees, something like that. We had 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh my.
That was a brutal day to carve pumpkins. The final day, during the final episode, I actually got a bee sting inside my ear. And it had warmed up, and the bees really like the large Atlantic giant pumpkins, the juice and stuff that's in them. They really draw them in. So I got bee stung on television.
Fun. Excuse me. You've been on the Food Network before, though. This isn't new to you. This is like old hat to you. Third time, right?
Correct.
And how many times have you won the competition?
I won twice.
Wow. So you're the
and what's funny is I won
champion.
both the outdoor shows. I won the Hayride of Horror, Halloween Wars Hayride of Horror, which was outside, and Outrageous Pumpkins, it was outside.
How do they find you? How does the Food Network find you? Or do you apply? Do you hear
in the beginning, when you're first starting out, they send out scouts basically, and they're through email and through social media, they look for people. And then once you've done it a few times, your name's out there, you're kind of in their file of people, and they kind of reach out to you. When I got the call for this, I was really ecstatic to be part of it, being that this is kind of where it all started for me, to watch Ray and them, and now to have somebody that I looked up to judging my stuff, and actually to be a friend of his now.
That's crazy,
it's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Years ago, you never could have seen that happening.
No, never in a million years would I believe this is where I'd be standing right now.
But just finally, you were self-taught. Like, you just started doing this on your own. You didn't go to pumpkin carving school.
Correct.
Maybe we should start
really,
one, no?
We should. There really isn't a school for carving pumpkins.
Yeah.
A lot of the tools we bring in are clay sculpting tools. So it's a matter of, learning to use clay tools on a different style medium. But really, when it comes down to it, it sculpts very much like clay.
It's so interesting. And you do other kind of sculptures, too. Other kinds of food and creations that are not typical.
I like to call myself a seasonal artist. I go from season to season. Here in about 2 weeks, I'll start going back to doing wood carving. I'll have some Christmas orders I'll have to do. And then December 1st, I'll start ice carving.
Ice.
And I'll be doing ice until February, March sometime. And then back into wood, sand, clay. And then full circle back to pumpkins
Back
again.
to pumpkins, yeah. Well, it's great to have you on the show. You come many times, and this is really exciting this year to be able to talk about your big prize. I mean, here's your championship belt.
I was actually more excited about that, I think, than
Really?
the cash prize.
Wow.
We were standing there, and I like to carry on with Dave. He's a great friend of mine. We were standing there waiting for them to announce who won, and they were unwrapping the belt. So we were both kind of bumping each other like, hey, look, they got a championship belt.
How fun. You ever wear it? Wear it around the house?
I'm having trouble sleeping at night because I wear it pretty much all the time.
Okay. Well, good to have you. Hopefully we'll be back here again next year with more creations from you, Danny.
Hope so.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
There's more to come in our second half hour. We'll be right back.